So the Chiefs, Mahomes, what else is new? He beats Josh Allen again in the playoffs, 3-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs. This was his first road playoff game, and there were a lot of questions whether or not he could bring it, and he actually did. This was probably the best Chiefs offensive performance we've seen all season. This was probably the most amount of complementary football, both sides of the Chiefs' offense and defense playing in unison. Defense slowing down Josh Allen in the offense, while Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense stepped it up. It was very impressive. Chris Jones backing down Deion Dawkins after Deion Dawkins was trash talking all week. It was incredibly impressive, and something that we haven't seen from the Chiefs' offense and defense basically all year, especially playing that in unison, that complementary with one another. I want to know. We both picked the Bills to win. Do you think this game said more about the Bills or about the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think it said more about the Bills, specifically Josh Allen, who when the lights were brightest, he came up small. Right? With 2 minutes to go, they were close to the red zone. Right? They had the timeouts. He was throwing the ball all over the place. I mean, there were wide open receivers that he could have taken in intermediate routes, and he was going for the end zone that far out. Here it is. Watch. Yeah. He throws that. That was a bad pass. I mean, and there was a wide open receiver underneath. Yeah, there it is again. And then the other play, there's another play where he rolls out to the right. Right.
Yeah.
He gets way over there, and the wide receiver, across the middle there, the two wide receivers both open, and he threw it down into the end zone, short again, and underthrown. And then they had to go for the field goal, and Bass missed it, which is a first for him. He usually makes those field goals, but I put this one on Josh Allen. I mean, they were trading scores, going back and forth the whole game. The Chiefs only punted once, I think, in the whole game. And they were ahead 27-24. The Bills didn't score in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs defense, was it the Chiefs defense that stepped it up? Or was it Josh Allen was coming up small? I think it was more him coming up small. He did not play well in the fourth quarter, and that cost him the game. Allen, 26 of 39, 186 yards, 1 TD. Mahomes, 17 of 23, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a nice running by Mahomes in select moments, as he always does. Total yards, very close. Chiefs, 361, Bills, 368. Passing, I mentioned. Rushing, the Bills, 182, and the Chiefs 146. Allen being the leading rusher for the Bills with 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pacheco for the Chiefs, 15 rushes, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I think the Chiefs, they showed why they're the defending Super Bowl champions. They went into Buffalo, a very hard place to play.
Yeah.
In a hostile environment. The elements not so much of a factor as they were last week when the snow was an issue, particularly mostly for the fans in the stands, throwing snow and snowballs at the players, right? Yeah. But it was cold, but it wasn't brutal like the game last week. But that wasn't an issue for the Chiefs. They can play in cold weather, and they won last week in very cold weather. Their defense looked good. Travis Kelce played great. Mahomes played great.
Yeah,
I think the Ravens got a lot to worry about next week with the defending Super Bowl champions coming to Baltimore and playing their second. Mahomes playing his second game on the road in his career. But we'll talk about that on Friday.
So, tell me if you heard this before. Josh Allen trying to do everything and coming up small. We've seen this before, and we've seen this a lot, especially in the playoffs. It's very Lamar Jackson-esque, except this time Josh Allen doesn't commit Lamar Jackson doesn't commit the turnovers Josh Allen normally does. In this game, Josh Allen was turnover free. He did have one fumble that it was a very ugly fumble, but no interceptions, which is the big one. But yeah, like I mentioned, to open up this topic, this was probably the best Chiefs complimentary football we've seen all season. The defense making Josh Allen uncomfortable, forcing him to play it extremely safe, check down instead of bombs away, although he had a couple opportunities, which I'm going to show. Stefon Diggs was bad in this game. He had, I believe, 8 targets, 3 catches, 21 yards. Yikes. And Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen, we've seen moments where it's a back and forth, it looks like. There's questions. Trayvon Diggs calling out Josh Allen before Stefon Diggs got there was not very good. There were a lot of very questionable, very, very questionable decisions on the Bills' part. The first one, which I'm going to bring up, is deciding to go for it at the beginning of the fourth quarter, to go for it on 4th and 5, a fake punt to Damar Hamlin. You're in your own 30.
Got close.
He never got close. This is a Brandon Staley type play. Dan Gamble wouldn't even do this. Yet Sean McDermott would. And because Josh Allen and we heard Tony Romo say he missed Stefon Diggs, and we look at Stefon Diggs' drop, which I'm going to show in a couple minutes here. Sean McDermott did not have a good coaching day. Offensive game plan was dink and dunk. Defense had a very difficult time stopping Mahomes consistently. All around, it was just a bad coaching day. Let's talk about something that could have been very bad for the Bills, and thank God for it in the case of the Bills. After that, McCole Hardman nearly ran it in for a touchdown. Instead, Jordan Poyer made a phenomenal play, punching it out and fumbled it in the back of the end zone for a touchback. Otherwise, that would have been 30. It's 27. So it would have been 34-21. Game's basically over at that point. You have about 10 minutes remaining. The game's essentially over, especially with how this game turned out to be. This play that I'm going to bring up now, Trent Sherfield. We had Shakir out. He was injured. It's now time for Sherfield to step up, and he did not. Josh Allen makes a great deep ball throw away from the cornerback on the sideline, and Sherfield can't come down with it. It bounces. It was a great throw. Great accuracy, keeping it away from the defender so only Sherfield can make the play, and he can't. Okay, but what about this one? This is the infamous one. So Stefon Diggs, like we mentioned, he and Josh Allen have not had the best relationship. We see him yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. His brother, Trayvon Diggs, comes out and starts bad-talking Josh Allen. Does Stefon Diggs step up when the moments are the biggest and the lights are the brightest? In this game, again, he came up small. Josh Allen tries another deep bomb. This one was the best throw of maybe the entire weekend. A 65-yard bomb. And arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL right now, and he drops it. This wasn't really even a contested catch, because I think the defender fell down. Stefon Diggs was the only one who made a play on this football, and it fell right in between his hands. And finally, that could have been a touchdown too. And finally, and you mentioned this, and I showed it before, when they were driving, and this was a 16-play drive. They were trying to burn as much clock as possible to try to keep Mahomes from pulling another 13-second comeback here to tie up the game and or win it. They kept burning clock, not taking timeouts, 2-minute warning. They were trying to do everything right. And Josh Allen did something wrong. Stefon Diggs, which people are going to argue, yes, you could say that throwing it, I believe that's to Shakir. That was like a Gabe Davis touchdown play in that playoff game. It was his 4th touchdown in that game. That this might be the right play to throw it in the end zone. However, if your whole ideology for this game and in that drive is to burn clock, you're trying to go for minimal chunk plays. Just get the ball out, keep the clock moving. Not only that, that was 3rd and 9, 2nd and 9? It was 2nd and 9. That could have been another first down. Clock keeps moving. That's another 40 seconds you could potentially burn off.
Receiver was open. They could have thrown it to him.
It was bad. So you could argue the decision shouldn't have been to Shakir. If you want to go for the touchdown, maybe. I'll also say this. Deion Dawkins got backed down in that play by Chris Jones. He was trash talking on social media. Chris Jones looked like he took that personally and backed up Deion Dawkins all the way and made Josh Allen not put all of his torque, all of his motion into that throw, and it did fall short.
Yeah, and if they had gone for the underneath plays and, as you say, burn some more clock and gain a few more yards, they would have had Bass even closer if he had to kick the field goal.
Right.
He wouldn't have missed it.
Right.
I mean, it only missed by a couple of feet, right, or a foot, and it was because he was back kicking about a 40-yard field goal. If he'd been kicking a 30-yard field goal, he would have made it.
Not only that, if you go for the first down, the Chiefs may call a timeout at that point. So even if, regardless, you kick a field goal, they'll probably kneel it on that drive, send it to overtime. Or if you score a touchdown, the Chiefs might be down to only one timeout or no timeouts, and then you could play your bracket coverage. So you had an opportunity to just burn clock, which you were doing that entire drive until the last two plays. Yeah.
They went to the end zone both times. When Josh Allen
decided to roll right and try to make a play which didn't exist.
Both times, poor throws, both times, way underthrown.
It was bad decisions, bad play calling. And I think, and Josh Allen, I had him as my number one quarterback a lot of last year. I put him as the best quarterback last year. And this season, he looked like a great quarterback. Total yards through the roof, a lot of touchdowns, whatever the case may be. He's not a bad quarterback. I just think Sean McDermott is not the best coach for him. I think Joe Brady, not the best OC for him. And I think Ken Dorsey played to Josh Allen's strengths, which is bombs away. But when you get Josh Allen at your best, you also get him at his worst, which is a lot of turnovers. Joe Brady minimizes the big chunk plays, minimizes the mistakes. So you don't get a ceiling. You don't get the ceiling of Josh Allen, but you raise the floor a little bit. Because his lows are not, incredible lows. They're still relatively low. They're just not the lowest of the low. While the highs are nowhere near the highs because he's playing it safe. He's trying to keep Josh Allen away from the turnovers. So I think the Chiefs played phenomenally in this game. They deserve to win. Mahomes played. This was not a Mahomes phenomenal game where he throws 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, 120 passer rating, although he did have a 131, but that's because he played super effectively. Only 215 yards, 17 of 23. He played out of his mind when it comes to letting the game come to him, making the throws that matter. Travis Kelce, it was his first touchdown since week 11. He had 2 of them. I think he broke Brady and Gronk's record for most receiver-quarterback duo touchdowns in playoff history. MVS, I think he had a great catch in the game. I think it was a deep ball, phenomenal grab. He had a good game in this game. Rashee Rice, who's been their star receiver, he didn't have a great game. 4 of 47, not bad, but it's not 100 yards, not 90 yards. It was 47 yards, not bad. So, Pacheco, we talked about him.
He's great.
Phenomenal game. Explosive runner.
I like the way he runs.
Oh, he runs hard. He runs hard and downhill. So
he had 2 touchdowns.
1 touchdown this game. Unless did he have a? Yeah, it was only 1 touchdown.
No, I have 2.
It's 15 carries, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. So it was something. It was definitely something else. And then, hey, Mahomes is going to his 6th straight AFC Championship game. 6 years of starting, 6 AFC Championship
Pretty
games.
Amazing.
Unheard of. I don't think Josh Allen and Mahomes are the next Brady Manning, although before this game, the numbers line up perfectly. I think...
Didn't Brady go to 8 straight AFC Championship games?
It was some very, very long streak. Yeah. But if we're talking about the head-to-head comparison, that's what people are saying, that Brady and Manning is
comparable
Mahomes
to
and
Mahomes.
Josh. Although I think
Josh
Burrow
Allen
is closer because Burrow gives Mahomes and the Chiefs much more trouble than Josh Allen does. The score might look close, but look a little bit deeper, and then the Bills just make some dumb decisions.
That loss for the Bills was a heartbreak.
Oh, it was brutal. And I mean, now I'm going to say
they expected to win. They expected to win. They had Mahomes on the road
for
the
first time, yeah.
And they had the luck on their side. They wound up in the number 2 seed when on the last day of the season they could have wound up out of the playoffs, and they wound up beating the Dolphins and getting the 2 seed, and they won their game last week. They were all set to go, and when the lights were brightest, they came up small.
I think Josh Allen's still a great quarterback. I don't think Sean McDermott is the best head coach for the Bills at this point.
I mean, your point, when they're trying to burn the clock, what are they throwing the ball into the end zone and stopping the clock for?
There's no reason.
And leaving lots of time on the clock. Mahomes doesn't need that much time.
Because not only that, your defense has been getting cooked all day.
Yeah.
So you're giving it to Mahomes with like a minute and a half left to go with all of their timeouts?
No, they panicked. They went for it too quickly. They should have done the dink and dunk a little bit more.
They did that all game.
Yeah.
They did not have a single play of 20 or more yards. which is shocking. I'm not saying Josh Allen outplayed Mahomes because I don't think he did. But what I do think was they were playing a pretty effective game all game. Running the ball was great. Josh Allen led the team in rushing. James Cook had a decent game. Ty Johnson had a pretty good game. 5.7 yards a carry. 7 carries for 40 yards. The Bills had 182 rushing yards on the day.
Yeah.
It was a very, very good game. And then that last drive just felt weird. It felt different. In reality, I didn't think the Bills could win. And Tony Romo was right. As soon as that play with Stefon Diggs, he even said on the broadcast, if the Bills lose, come back to this play where Josh Allen misses Stefon Diggs.
Yeah. Well, he didn't miss him. The Diggs didn't catch it.
He missed the read, I should have said. Yeah, he missed the read. He was looking for the touchdown.
Oh, the short play. I thought you were talking about the long pass that Diggs dropped.
No.
That was important too.
That was massive. That probably would have been a touchdown, or at least you get probably a field goal out of that. Yeah. At least.
I mean, I think he could have scored after he caught it because the defender fell down.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had an opportunity for points there, and
he'll be thinking about that one for a long time.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.